Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. You are once again welcome here on the platform of Awakening Consciences on the front page of international news. Germany is in a panic. Germany is in total panic. A panic which pushes Friedrich Merz to want to challenge the German constitution to face Vladimir Putin's Russia. Yes. You heard it right, Friedrich Merz, the new German Chancellor who came with his claws, very armed against Russia, very determined against Russia. Today he is faced with the reality once his army cannot hold up to the German constitution which prohibits the recruitment of women into the army. It is this prohibition that he wants to defy, he wants to violate. Women should be recruited into the military. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation is becoming very complicated for Germany. Germany, which has taken the lead and which is very active within the framework of the coalition of volunteers who must go to Ukraine. In this video conference, ladies and gentlemen, so it is this hot and burning news that we are going to talk about. But before we continue the video conference, let me remind everyone who follows me here that I am not a journalist. I am not a chronicler, but I am a form. I don't know a journalist or what, I don't know. Basically, I am here to raise awareness. To have an awakened conscience, one must be informed. We have to understand the world around us, the world in which we are and everything that revolves around us. I am a politician. That is what this is all about. So let's go deep, share the video conference, put a lot of likes. According to official information, Friedrich Merz wants to expand the constituency, the conscription. I was going to tell the women then. It is the fear of defeat against Russia that is the driving force behind this decision. Share this video conference with me. You have the war in Ukraine has exposed the fragility of the ball of hope. The German army is called La Boule d'Espoir. There is a lack of manpower, there is a lack of equipment, there is a lack of preparation. We saw here about 4 weeks ago, so a month, 2 weeks, there is the person in charge of logistics at the level of the German army who had gone out to sound the alarm. Who says the German army is not ready? We will have to wait perhaps 2029 for the German army to be ready to face a conflict of great intensity. Despite all this, Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, understood nothing. It must therefore be said that each Russian advance revives the specter of a Western military defeat. Every time Russia moves, advances on the ground, we understand that the West is decaying, its defeat is visible. So in this context, Friedrich Merz dramatizes. He reads this. If volunteering fails, new measures will have to be imposed, even extreme ones, because it started with volunteering. He would like people to voluntarily join the army, including women. And so far it has failed. If that fails, action will have to be taken, New measures? Even if these measures are extreme, he wants to go to the extreme. Because he wants to face a giant he doesn't equal. So Nels Friedrich Merz does not act out of conviction. He acts out of fear. The fear of humiliation in the face of Russia. He does not want Germany to be humiliated in the face of Russia. That's why he's taking a leap into the unknown, right? He takes a leap into the unknown. Recruit the women. So as I said, traditionally, German conscription only concerns men. So recruitments in the army, traditionally in Germany, it concerns only men. The basic law, which is the constitution in its Article 12a, protects women from this obligation. A historical exception inherited from the post-war period, women are protected by Article 12a. Of the Constitution of the German Basic Law. By opening the door to the mobilization of women, Metz announced a total break with the German legal and social balance. And what has to be said is that when a chancellor comes to touch the Constitution, it is that fear of the Kremlin trumps respect for the law. Fear of the Kremlin dominates. This is what we can now see about the respect of the law in Germany. So there is a legal battle. There is a legal battle that is there. How will Friedrich Merz achieve his goal? As I said today, the German constitution in its Article 12a and does not authorize compulsory conscription for women. It authorizes compulsory conscription only to men, thus extending this duty to women. It is therefore illegal if the German constitution is not revised. But Friedrich Merz is there to respect German law, not to violate it. And we are talking about a European country that says it respects its own texts. Well, if it was an African country, the media would talk about it. Why isn't the media talking about it? That must tell you something. That is why I ask you to share as much as possible. So, by announcing his project, Merz provokes a debate. Is this a direct challenge to the Basic Law, or is it preparing an urgent revision of the Basic Law? The debate is raised. So the main thing is that it is an admission of panic when the Bloch-Berlin law is already speaking. To bypass it. So what must be added as a last resort is that Europe is forced to militarize these peoples. The whole of Europe is being militarized. So behind Friedrich Merz's initiative, there is a continental dynamic. Washington pushes, Warsaw applauds, Berlin hesitates, and the Russian army advances for Europe. Expand their war effort. So that's it. As long as Russia advances on the field of hostilities, Europe expands its war effort. Whatever the budgets are multiplied, mobilization, recruitments of the army are increased, and now we are witnessing the questioning of the German constitution, therefore the extension of the constitution to women, of conscription to women, I was going to say, becomes the symbol of a Europe entirely panicked and which is militarizing under pressure from Moscow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the front page of the news. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I'll be right back with some news. It was the voice of your humble servant, the Samurai.